How we doing? My little fucking shit weasels. It's a good day. Or a good night. It's a great night. If you're here for just the title of the video, I will add a timestamp in the description so that you can click that or manually navigate to that timestamp and watch this in action. But until that timestamp, I'm going to rant and do a monologue to kind of give a little bit of context as to, I guess, who I am, what I've done, how this works, and why those two things are related. So again, if you just want to see the fucking thing in action, go to the timestamp. But until then, you're all mine, cocksucker. So if you're new to the channel, or if you just never caught any of my rants about programming, I've been doing software development since I was about 12 years old. Now, it's nothing special. I was really fortunate enough to have that desire and to have enough fucking patience to try and wrap my head around the concept, because I didn't quite fully understand what I was doing until about 15. Everything from 12 to 15 was primarily me learning all of the mainstream languages, things like Visual Basic. I don't know if that's mainstream anymore. A little bit of C++ and Objective-C. Autoit, if anyone's ever heard of that. C#, JavaScript, Java, a little bit of SQL syntax, and other document-based database languages / systems. And after I started experimenting with, I think it was PHP. Yeah, PHP. That's when things really started to click, because I was interfacing with multiple things at once. Like, PHP was the engine to the application itself, but then I was interfacing with things like SQL, and then Redis database, and I was managing storing files so that users could upload files, and then then I learned fucking how to use SSH, and I had to set up a CentOS server, and I don't know. So it was a really fucking cool journey, because everything started to interconnect. It had always interconnected, but I didn't quite interpret it like that until I started doing things related to web development. So anywho, 15 and onward, I'd say the next phase would be around 18, 19. So from 15 to 18, I was doing everything that I could think of. There was really nothing that I couldn't do. If I couldn't do it, I had enough time committed to learning how to do these things that I could find the resources that were necessary and mentally model what this app or this thing that I wanted to do would look like. And I had enough time using other languages and just having different facets of logic that it became very seamless. So after that, though, I realized that going into 18, 19, I got my first real job as a developer. And mind you, I had also dropped out of high school, so I was kind of betting a lot on this fucking thing working out. I realized that I had grown up primarily in an environment of logic. Everything that I was doing involved taking complicated things or complicated processes that people wanted to either simplify and or make convenient and or make simple. And it was my job to do that and to interface that, like literally make it something that people could use. And it was this really rigid, grab yourself by the bootstraps means of approaching these challenges that literally made me who I am and made me think the way that I do. So to translate that to where we're at now with these fucking stocks, AMC and GameStop, I'm going to be doing some, replays of AMC and GameStop from December of 21 till now. But if you ever try to even just remotely fucking parse what these stocks are doing, right? Like, what is the logic to why these things are being traded the way they are? it's just fucking mentally crippling. The logic of most people is that because they're being manipulated, that, and I say that with quotations around them, just because there is no, I'll get into that later, fuck. Allegedly manipulated. That there's no way to predict it, there's no way to analyze it, TA is meaningless, blah, 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 and sure. If that's how you want to think of it, then of course, that's going to be how it is for you. But to people like me who are stubborn and probably autistic, this thing is just a puzzle. It's a fucking puzzle. I can't believe I just fucking said that. So it's like a 1 in a million chance that you'll find anything that holds, any constant that you try to derive from a chart. There's a 1 in a million chance that it'll actually work out. Even when you think that you found something that worked out, the next day or the moment that you tell Twitter about it, it just disappears. It just fucking disappears. But regardless, there is a rhythm to this thing, and there is some form of constant to it that if you can find it, it's a $1 million prize. It's just like any other stock. So basically what I'm trying to say is you can criticize and complain and berate anyone you want that is trying to help figure this thing out. But as I've said since I started this fucking channel, don't fucking do that. If someone is genuinely trying to help, I will never understand it. It's like children on a playground and there's a set of monkey bars and no one can get across the set of monkey bars, okay? And then you have a bunch of kids who are fucking, you can't fucking do it, and just fucking berating some kid who's like, I think I can do it. and everybody's fucking angry at this kid for just giving it a stab. That's exactly what this fucking thing has been like, and it's incredible. It's fucking incredible. So I digress. I've been studying these charts for well over a year now. I've put hours that have turned into days, that have turned into literal weeks worth of time continuously into studying the algorithms at play, into the alleged manipulation at play, into the short interest, into the options chain, into the way that the underlying moves. This has been my fucking life. And I've never, like, the moment that I sank my teeth into this thing, I've never let my jaw loose even by the slightest. So to have something that I can present like this is fucking liberating. And there have been a lot of different discoveries and means of analyzing this that I've come up with, but this one is, I think, what I'm most proud of. So without further fucking ado with me and my fucking stupid goddamn sob story, let's go ahead and get into this fucking thing real quick. So this is AMC going back to December 2nd of 2020 on the 1 hour chart. So this is going to go by relatively quick. The green region at the bottom is the spring zone. This has a lot to do with Wyckoff theory. Basically, if the stock falls into this zone, the probability that this zone turns into upside is incredibly high. The red line is a temporary distribution line. That was the January move right there. But the red line is a distribution line. It's basically what the relative top would be, or relative resistance. And this changes over time, but it's a way to kind of determine your range, because the red being the distribution top would be your ceiling, and then the green region would be your floor. The blue lines serve as accumulation areas. So these are also your quasi support and resistances. If the stock is below there, that means that it's accumulating, and it's probably going to be confined within that range. Now, right here, this touch to 834, this was in April. This was huge. And this is your classic fucking Wyckoff reaccumulation schematic. But if we just momentarily consider what's at play here, and also if you see any of the lines or regions lit up, that's just a way to signal to you that it's in that zone. This is a classic spring, classic accumulation. But what's amazing about this is that you had it touch right into this spring area. And after this is when you start seeing the melt up that we had going into late May and early June. Everything that has gone on so far seems relatively noisy. But when you apply this approach to it, it actually begins to make a lot of sense. I'm going to let this actually keep playing, and then I'll make my point. You can see it flirting within. Yeah, look at that. So it got rejected off of this accumulation area. You had a miniature reaccumulation schematic kick in, and that's when you start to see takeoff take place, because now this current candle is late April. Now, when the green background shows up, that means that the price is at just the right point, essentially, that if you were to buy in, that point would be the right time. Because we've already touched the spring level. We're below both of the accumulation thresholds, and we're just above the spring area again. And let's see. Oh, and also on top of that, if you see the distribution fall below the accumulation lines, that's fucking big. If you see the if you see the distribution, so the red line again, drop below the spring region, which is in green, that's like go. That is the time to buy in. And this is so this is when we squoze to 72. And I'm going to try to shut the fuck up because the rest of this is really important. You're going to start to see this really at play. So right here, we touched the G spot of the spring region. And we see that our distribution has fallen below both of the accumulations. Everything going into this, you have essentially just a giant set of distribution taking place, so the sell-off. And then this became a relative bottom. Touches the spring region again. And this is why people always talk about it's a spring within a spring, because it literally is. And then here you have more distribution taking place. We went up. It's fucking incredible. We had the touch here and then a lagging touch here, and we left our accumulation area, and then we went straight into distribution. And then here we see the spring region actually acting as a resistance, which is symptomatic of, I guess we'll call it extreme accumulation or reaccumulation. But it's one of the best resources that I've ever used, let alone created. I cannot wait to start trading with this. And then we're going to see that we've essentially started a new trend going into here. It's screaming buy signals, but this is also when the markets began experiencing turmoil because we're in December going into the new year here. But it shows, again, just accumulation. This has been the spring within the spring meme that's been going on for the past fucking 6 months. It makes me excited again. That's the best way to put it. I'm excited again after seeing things play out the way they have with this. And now we're approaching where we're at presently, which is March 22nd of 22. And there you have it. there's a bunch of different facets that are a part of this indicator. You can also see, though, that every time that we've touched that spring region, so here, let's see, we touched it here. This was actually a fail right here. This was a fail, but that's also when the markets began shitting themselves. And now, as of recent, we had a lagging one here, and now here we are presently. Just about every time that we've had one of these flash, you see upward movement. And if we go back to pre-June, you had it here and you had it here. So that's about an 80%, 85, 90% success rate. And here we are now. So let's take a look at Jimbo real quick, and then I'll wrap this shit show up. Actually, I don't think I've seen GameStop yet. I don't think I've looked at it on here yet. I'm going to go back to, yeah. So this will be the same start of early December of 2020. And you can even, yeah, it's just fucking all over the place. Here and here and here and fucking here. Let's get on with it. Right there, touched it. And now this is obvious distribution taking place, and as well as shorts being squeezed out of their positions. Still very indicative of distribution, though. Yep. Even this couldn't quite rationalize what GameStop was. Here's the funny part. So we I think that's to the fucking decimal point perfect that you had a support take place at an accumulation zone, and then here we have it again. And then another part that I actually didn't fucking mention yet. So the spring region has something that I call IntelliSpring, which is this option right here. And what it does is that it creates it calculates where your spring would be, but then it factors in two things. And I'm really fucking proud of this because this is actually really fucking cool. It uses moving averages, short and long term. So a MACD. It's literally making a MACD out of your spring area. And on top of that, it's modifying that area based on the average true range. So when you see this right here, where you have this crossover take place, this is actually the shorter term exponential moving average crossing over the longer term simple moving average. That's literally a MACD built into this fucking thing. But it's also your spring region. It's fucking, I love it. I love it. Oh, also, if the red line is lit up, that means that you're in a relative distribution phase. So it's, God, this is fucking cool. So it has all these fucking features that are combined together. So this is a resistance line right here. If it's lit up, that means that you're in distribution. Is basically what I'm getting at. And if you're in distribution, that means that whatever trend you have is someone selling off, which means you're going into accumulation, most likely. All right, let's keep going. So here we have, we're in obvious accumulation here. Touch the spring region. And this is March going into April of 21. Bounced off the accumulation. Hovered at it, reaccumulated, jumped up. And you can see that we keep crossing over here. This keeps the spring region keeps elevating. And this would be late May going into June. We hovered at this level of accumulation. Spring region became a support. And now we're well below the spring. And then this is where, what do you call it? I think this was dilution. But now we're heavily compressed here. And then there's your squeeze in August. And you can see the relationship between each of the accumulation areas, or regions rather, the blue lines, and the way that the distribution line interact. And this is going into late 21, where markets started to shit themselves. Yep. Again, well below distribution, each of the accumulation areas and the spring region. Man, the past fucking 6 months have sucked dick. This has been really fucking shitty. But there's your spring region acting as a resistance, which basically implies the shadow of there's an even deeper level for a spring. And now we're approaching where we're at presently. And the spring is very well fucking compressed. Basically, you've had 3 alarming buy signals gone off over the past 4 months. If we look at the daily on this, yeah. And then we'll check out AMC's daily. Yeah, the last time that AMC had a daily, what do you call it? Buy signal was right before the squeeze in January. So yeah, it's just fucking cool, man. It's fucking cool. And I'm jacked. I'm jacked to the fucking tits. No words, baby. No words. I'm excited for tomorrow. We're only fucking one day into the week. Let's fucking get it.